everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's after school club. I am Ruth. We're part of Do Space Omaha Library here. And if you don't know anything about after school club, you can always check out dospace.org. I have a little magnifying glass thing now at the bottom right, so it makes it easy to see things. So right here, if you look at the lower left right there, you see Do Space After School Club. If you go there, you can check out what's going on in each week, and you can also look at the archives. So we got Mondays, we got Design It, Tuesdays Code It, Wednesday Make It, and then Thursdays I guess day with STEM Stars. So you're like, you're just kind of getting, really bored at home and you can't really go out anywhere because, there's COVID-19 out there. You could definitely join us on after school club on Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And again, I have like this whole thing. Another thing, we have a thing called Beanstack. Beanstack is like our little like our digital passport. We usually have a passport during the summer where you can sign up and win prizes. You keep track of your progress and say, hey, I watched a thing over here. I just popped up information over on the Twitch side, giving you the link. If you're on Facebook, you can always sign up at dospace.beanstack.org here. Again, you can always interact with me on chat. You can just talk, say, hey, hello, hanging out, this is my first time, or ask questions here. Okay, so on Mondays we usually do design stuff, but for the next design things we're doing, we need to learn a little bit about AppLab. You can check out AppLab on code.org/educate/AppLab. We're going to look into app development, but we need to learn how AppLab works first, and then we can get into design it. So there's going to be a little bit of coding stuff here and there, but we're just, learning this so we can get into, designing stuff. And again, you can interact with me on chat, ask questions and such. So if you want to follow along, you go to code.org or show up, go use, spend your own time watching this video on recording and get into AppLab. It also has a bunch of the starter projects and tutorials, but we're designing our own things later on. So I'm just going to go into AppLab. This is Intro to AppLab. Right up here it says try it out. And of course you have to sign in with Google. So I'm just going to sign in here. Just my face, so no password showing anywhere. Gotta say internet secure. So after you sign in, you will see this page here. Making sure you guys see what I see. Good. So you got your big space here. I don't think I will need magnifying much from here on out. Maybe I can no? There we go. Just making this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. So on the upper left, there's code, design, and data for various things. So code is where you code for your app for your app. For these apps, yeah, you can directly use these on your phones. They're technically websites that your phone opens, but it's really handy to get into app development through Code Lab. Code App Labs, there you go, where you can learn some things before you get into the complicated stuff, because app development can get really complicated. So I'm just sticking to the beginner area here. So we got on the left side here a little virtual phone right here. My face is covering it, but there's a run button right below that. And then there's this right here, this is workspace. This is where you would code. You can code with blocks, or you can type your code in here. I could say if 1 is greater than 2. Come on, get in there. It wasn't letting me type. if, like 1 is greater than 0, and then you would, type in the thing for whatever it does in your function. If you don't know anything about coding, that's okay. We can stick to this. And definitely check out Code It on Tuesdays. Learn some code through that. But we're going to stick with the Blockly meeting. I might go switch into JavaScript. So this isn't JavaScript in here. You can switch between JavaScript and text on the upper right here. You can also look at version history, but I'm going to stick with blocks for now. And again, we've got a screen right here. It says, we got our virtual phone. It says screen run right there. So after looking at this, I'm going to focus mostly on design side and go a little bit into code. Again, you can say hello in chat, interact with me. This is DSpace Library over in Omaha, Nebraska. So I'm going over design now. So I clicked on design on this little tab right here. And I got all these buttons here. So I can literally like left click and drag things in. That's the screen. A little text area, sliders. You can like interact with them, photo select, a chart, all these things. And you can select it. You see this little area over here that changes things. I'm just deleting all the things I just added on and dragged in. And that's how you get into designing your workspace. So, first thing I want to look at is text. So that'll be label right here. Oh, and below that, you see design toolbox. This is where you get your buttons. Workspace is where you can edit the things these do. In events, if you want to like add a code thing in here, triggered when a key is pressed, insert and add code, and it adds it immediately. Just gonna go back to design. Again, don't be afraid to say hello. So I'm on screen 1 right here. I'm gonna grab label, middle right here, add it in. I click on properties in the workspace right there. I can give this ID. So all these components, I'm gonna call these components because I'm thinking if you know anything, if anyone's watching know anything about React, we call those little stuff components, class extent exponents. But if you don't, that's okay. But I'm gonna call each of these items components here, except for the screen. So these have an ID on here. If I change the ID here to like title right now, it's not gonna change the text over here. ID right here is a reference for our code. So we're gonna get like, let's get element by ID. It's gonna grab, and we type title in there, we can do stuff with that directly. If I go to events right here and click insert and add code, it's an on event title. So right there at the top in the middle right here, it says title. That is the ID right there. It's not going to go by the actual title of the text. We have little IDs that aren't shown in the visuals on the left side here, where it's not like you have IDs there where you can interact with the items without it showing over here. Let's go back to design. So for properties here, I can change the text and say hello, or I can type after school club. You see it right here. I can move it around the space. And if I hover over it, it shows me the ID. And X and Y is where it is in the pixels. So if I go all the way to the upper left right here, it says XY00. So that's the spot in the upper left. As I go more to the right, the X increases. So this is pixel number 181 right here. If I go down, Y increases. So I'm at spot pixel from left to right 187, top to bottom 165. So left to right is X pixels. So those are the rows of pixels. Y is the columns going up and down. It could, be referred to as C and R, column and row. Actually, no, row then column. But they went with X and Y coordinates here. If you've done like some pre-algebra, you might have used coordinate graphs before, where everything's in the middle and you got like your negative X and your negative Y. Here it just starts in the upper left, right there. You can type how many pixels this is, like width is. So I'm gonna do 300. And you notice it doesn't change the size of the text. It just changes the size of the text box. So this area right here. Notice as I make it smaller and big, these numbers over here change. And I can also manually change the position. I can change the text color. Let's make it dark blue. And then I can manually change the background color too in RGB values. So so red, green, blue, alpha. So if I do 100 in red. Okay, so it doesn't really choose the background color here because it's just text. 255. Nope. Oh, I can just grab that. There's like a slider right here to change. Oh, there we go. It's because it's transparent. And I can have like a background color in that box there if I wanted to. And then I have font family here. You can't upload your fonts in here, but you can choose different types of fonts in here. Comic, Impact, Cedar Sans. Change all of that. And you can change the alignment, you know, just all the stuff you want to do for designing. So if I increase the size of the font, I have to adjust the box, the bounding box for it. And let's see a way to make, there's border, if I want to add a border around it. Border radius if I want to curve everything. Depth, that's how close and how far things are on here. And there you go. So I got text right here. I can place it anywhere. Yeah, I got that. So I'm making this app here. And this is going to be a title screen kind of thing. So I can also add a button. Oop. And just drag it in and there's a button. And I'm just going to have this say start. But again, it's got an ID. It's got button 2 on here. The text can say button. I'm going to change it to start. Could change background. It's like the same, it's very similar properties as the other. Oh, there we go. There's the bold version. I can change the font. I can do an image for the background if I wanted. I can make it like super rounded if I want on border radius at the bottom right there. Or a little rounded. And it's by pixels. And then looks like it has an outline. I'm gonna go with no outline, making it transparent here. Yeah, so I'm not gonna spend too much time here because I'm kind of showing you guys the different functions going on. I could add, so if I go to screen right here, click on that, it's a screen 1, so that's in the name. I'm just gonna name this start screen. And you can't put spaces in the name. This is just an ID, it doesn't have a title. So up here, I have start screen. And I could add more screens if I wanted to. I can do an image background or a color background. Right here. I am not liking these colors that I'm doing here. Or yeah, like I said, I can do an image in the background. Then I can also, I can have a text input, so I can left click and drag that in. And people can type their text in there. Placeholder, type here. And you see right there, it says type here immediately. Again, a lot of the same settings. I can do a text area, I could do a slider, a lot of things. So, you know, as you drag these things in, well, that's an individual radio. You can see, it's got checked and everything in there. Yeah, I got the same type of properties as the others that you can, mess with. I'm just going to delete that one. If you want to delete a component, I'm going to drag something in again. So I have this right here, this little checkbox. I can left click, hold, left click down, and drag it over. And it's deleted. Canvas lets you draw. In that area. Image is a picture you insert. All the things. Now, what if I just want a quick and easy, make everything look nice right away? So on Design Toolbox in the middle right here, you see this thing called Default at top right there. I can click on it and I can choose a theme, or I can create my own theme too and apply it. So let's do that one. Oh, it changed the fields, or I can have like a pink theme or a coral reef theme. I'm gonna add more items in here so you can kind of see what's going on. There you go. And this only changes the elements. Like I have to change the background for these. I can have like a berry patch under the sea, two-tone. So if I want instant nice, I can click one of these. I'm gonna go with polar here. Click on the screen. Try to get that light blue. And it's a little better. Still kind of ugly, but a little bit better. Again, if you're hanging out with us, you can totally interact and chat or ask questions. It's up to you. Okay. So another thing is that if you want to delete an element, instead of dragging it off, you can also select it and click delete. You can also change the settings to here, even though it's got theme, or you can duplicate through that too. I'm just so used to dragging things on and off. Oh, if you want more screens, you just click screen, add it in, and look, I got a screen too now. So there's my start screen, and I can switch between them on this drop down on the phone. Screen 1, screen 2. So something specific to screens here is that when you go to the properties in the middle right here, you have a thing called make default. That click make default, that'll make the start screen right there. Here. Okay. So let's say this is all our designed thing right away. There's a run button. My face is blocking it, but there's a run button at the bottom of the phone. If I click run, I can start doing things. I can go type in here. I can check these boxes off and on. I can choose different options and click start right there. Of course, I don't do anything because we haven't coded anything for them yet. But we're just kind of getting used to how using this here. Okay. And you can click reset at the bottom if you're done. Okay. So there is more to each of these, but we're gonna move on to the next thing here. So next thing is code. So usually when you start app development, you go to the design part and put little things in here, design it how you want, and then you go into code and start coding things in here. So first I'm gonna do is make this button. When I tap the button, it goes to the next screen. So I'm gonna select that, and I'm gonna go to events. So if you want to like quickly refer to a component on your phone, you select it and you go to events, and there's a part where it says click right here, or if it was change menu, or type based on input, or change, or again click. So these are all these events, and you can click insert and show code. And it automatically adds the code for you in there. Ain't that nice? And you don't have to look at the ID and all that stuff. So now we're in the code area. Again, you can use block code, or you can change the text by show text on the upper left here. And it's JavaScript, but it does have its own events and methods. Like auto event is its own method. And you can do stuff. So at the bottom, there is a debug console. So if you do something like console log, I'm just going to start here, click start. At the bottom of the screen, it says button to clicked. So if you know how to debug, you can do step overs and stuff, but I'm not going to go into debugging that much, besides making print statements to make sure, something's clicked. So we have a print statement right here that makes sure this button was clicked and it's working. There you go. And yeah, there's that. So let's get this button to go to the next screen. So in the toolbox right here, if you've ever worked with Scratch before, it's kind of similar to that. It's a little bit more, I don't like, it's closer to the syntax of, typing coding in here. So you kind of learn by doing, but if you hover over each of these, it gives it like a little help box to tell you what it does. So text input, and the arguments it takes, that's in the parentheses, ID and text. Create a text input and assign it an element ID. You can click see examples, and it has like all this documentation. That's the thing about coding, everything's documentation. It's got all this documentation of examples of what things do in here. And yeah, again, I'm just showing you guys how to use AppLab for this time, and we're going to go way more into design stuff in the next 3 weeks. Okay, so there's UI controls right here. So the toolbox, you can actually switch between these to get different sets of, tools here. If you find something, like you want to try something that isn't in here, you can just switch over to show text, and you can start typing your own things like var, caps, var x equals 0. And then it's defined, but not called in your program, I don't know. And you can type in it, and it tells you on the side here, hey, this is a warning. So triangle's warning here. And if I switch back to show blocks, it turns into a block for me. And same thing, if I delete something, you just drag it off. So you can connect things, different elements like puzzle pieces in here. So through here, making your little puzzle, kind of puzzle contraptions, putting them together here, is make this thing more like an app. So I'm now going to go back to UI control on the middle side here. I got on event clicked already in here, and then it's got function in there already. That's just something with JavaScript. And console log. So I need to make it to go to a next screen. So if it's something with UI, it's going to be UI control group. I'm just looking for a screen. Yep, set screen. There it is. Put that right there, and then I'm going to change it to screen 2. So I have to change this to the ID of the component. Over here, luckily I can see it right here. You also can click this drop down menu right here, and it'll give you only the options, things that are screens. So I can click screen 2, and now I'm going to run. So when I click the start button, it's going to go to the next screen. Start, and it took me to the next screen. The screen's blank. There you go. Okay, so you can also see all this other stuff you can do in here. So I'm going to do another thing here. Let's see. You can do math in here, create some functions. It's more stuff, JavaScript, have comments. So I'm gonna make like a little drawing screen on screen 2. So there's screen 2. I'm gonna go back to design, just kind of grab a canvas in here, make it the majority of the screen, and then click insert and show code. So now I got on event canvas 2 function event, and tells me exactly where it was clicked. So I'm not gonna run. Click this button, and lets me draw a dot in there immediately, because that's its way to test things out. It's not consistent drawing, unfortunately, in there. What if I want to change colors? I'm gonna go back to screen 2 here on design. And then the one thing I do wish it was here is the way to just add like a quick simple shape. So I'm just adding radio buttons here because it's going to make it where when you click on it, changes the color. I was hoping that I could do other things. So that one's checked. Duplicate, put it next to it, duplicate, next to it, duplicate, next to it. And that's the one I want checked. There. Okay. Now I'm going back to events. So for this one, radio button 1, insert and show code. I now have events here for the radio button right there. So I'm just gonna make it where I can draw things here. Just showing all the things you can do. You don't have to understand all of this right away. Okay. So everything in yellow, you notice this here is also color coordinated. So on event right here is yellow, that's UI controls. Green is functions, that's under functions. Purple, variables, so you see variables right there. Orange to math, yellow back to UI in there. Okay, so now I'm gonna change some things in here, like let's see, set stroke color. I can change the options here. I'm just gonna type black. So it's set to black. And then I can also get the image data. I'm also gonna increase the size. Stroke width, probably like to like, that's too big. 8. And set stroke color to black. Line. Okay. And then I have all these other elements in here. So background design, click on this one right here, insert and show code. You can also just like, I'm trying to remember how to copy these. Well, if you want to copy them, you can just go straight show text and copy and paste. You have to know exactly where to paste it. Here we go. And I'm gonna change this to red. Go back to design. So you kind of get the idea where you can like click on the element, insert show code, and add your function of what you want to do. And I'm going to change this one to blue. Oh, on design. Click on that. Insert and show code for the last one. I'm doing that so I don't have to keep track of the IDs. I'm going to do a clear canvas here. And again, I can hover over it and see what it does. Clears all the data in the active canvas. Okay, so now I'm going to run. Click start button, goes to the next one. It says button click in my debug. And I can start clicking in there. And I change to this one right here. You know, it's not red stroke color. It's now red. I have to add a function to make it where if I hold click down and stroke along, it'll draw lines. But then I'm just showing you guys how you add code. Everything's now it's blue. And clear canvas. Got that. And that. That. Okay. So the last thing, actually there's a few more things I want to show. So I have this now. So another thing I want to show is there's a data tab on the top right here. Next to designing code, data. So the data thing right here is for keeping track of different things here. It's already got some data tables here. So I'm just going to grab cats, information of different breeds. These are data tables that they already have. I'm just going to click on import. Now I have a data for cats, a table named cats in here. And you might be looking at this and like, what is this for? Let's say you're making a quiz app and you have a lot of data you're going through. You can make a table that refers to the, like, has all the answers in there and aligns them to how you want. Or maybe you have a chart, at least with the chart thing on the code. You want to show some data based on what the tables are, and it shows them right in there. So you can grab all these if you need data. Let's say you're making a like a journal app. You need somewhere to store the data that you type in into inputs, or you have like a login screen with password and usernames. You need a place to store the username. So you create a table that takes the usernames from the input over here. So that's what, data is for. You got data tables and you got key value pairs. So this is just for variables. I don't have any variables in this project. But you can create them all here and pair them here. So I got a table named cats right here. I'm just going to click on it. And if I click on it, it opens up the table. It's got all this data. Name, minimum lifespan. This stuff is, they added this in here. And I can also delete data. It also has a picture in there. Huh. So I got all that data. I'm going to go back. I'm not going to create my own. So I'm going to just name this table test. Click add. It's test. And here you go. It's a very blank table. I'm going to click cog, rename. Like, what if I want username? Right there. And I can add a row for like password. And there. And then I can change, like, make sure I go by ID right here. I can make it visualize data if I wanted to. This other stuff you don't have to care as much about. You can go to debugger. And you click add row to add more rows in here. And right now it says undefined, because we didn't enter any data in there. So I'm just going to do typical admin password. You'll look into it later how to connect this stuff up. Must be Boolean number string. Oh, for the string, There we go. Oh, that's why. That's just a side coding thing. You don't have to worry about it. I'll explain what to do later on. There we go. So now I got an admin for username and password for the password section. So I can type it in. And maybe I can point input to go in this data right over here. So if I go back to code, click reset, go to my, design, go to my box right here, insert and show code. This is for text input. And there's a little green section for data right there where I can get column and key values and I can create a record. I can update a record and it grabs the table. So I can select this right here. And, this is the name of my table and what I want there. So for the name group, I could type Bob, for username, and it tells me it's updated to that list. Yeah. Okay. So last thing here. Definitely rename your project. You see at top, it's unnamed right now. If I want to rename, I just click rename. Just gonna, I can, click rename there, save. Just gonna keep it untitled. I can share it or remix it. Making remix is just making a copy of it, make different changes, but share. You can, share it to people and test it on your phone right here. You can share via website link. You can publish. You can share it to Facebook, Twitter, or send a phone. It just sends like what's it called? A text message with website link on it. That's what it just does. Yeah, and this extra stuff here that we don't really care about right now. Embed, share live, it's up to you for that. Yeah, but yeah, that's about it for learning how to use this. Oh, another thing, vision history. If you made a bunch of changes and it's all broken, you can go from different times you worked on it and restore older versions. So, or I can just do start initial version, just start over the whole thing if it's really, really broken. Otherwise, yeah, that's about it for the AppLab right here. Thank you very much for watching. There will be a recording of this on YouTube, and definitely check out Beanstack. I'm gonna go back to our website here. So just for watching this, you can sign up in Beanstack and say, hey, I watched this. And if you watch 10 of these and earn some badges, you can win prizes. I'm gonna search Beanstack. I think it's literally just do space. Do space On the Twitch side, I also have in the chat. You can just look at the website there. But for the Facebook side, Beanstack. Here, there we go. There's our Beanstack right here. Take part at Steam challenges, learn new things, win cool prizes, get started, and sign up with your DSpace card. So this is for Omaha area, mainly. But otherwise, yeah, that is it for today. Have a good afternoon, everyone.